Back-to-back CSGO videos, huh? How about that? If you guys have been long-term viewers, it's almost like back in the day on the old channel. Kind of makes me feel happy inside. Hope you guys are all doing well, though. Welcome back to more CSGO news. My name is Jake, breaking down this past weekend, and it was an insane weekend. May I say as well, a crazy weekend, and some big news out there. Guys, it will be Team Valiance rebranding and renaming themselves from Valiance to crazy. I don't really know why, and I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about this. If you guys have not seen their rebrand as well with their new name, I'm not sure if there was any money involved as well, because this apparently crazy brand has been around before, so it could have been money somewhat involved as well in this. But you become a top 25 solidified team in the world. They have been before, I do believe, but especially now they are solidified. They have a great chance, I would say a substantial chance, to make it out of the European minor as one of those surprise teams out there and actually make the major. And you decide now is the time to rebrand and be one of the most questionable renames we have seen in CSGO. This is almost as bad, if not worse, than Kingwin, considering for a short amount of time that Black Devils was a good name for a CSGO team. Of course, they became Devils 1, and now that's been done ever since then. But either way, I don't really know what to think about this. Their own CEO saying not only Valiance is dead, but also time to go hard and time to go crazy. But I will say one thing, guys. One thing, if they do actually manage to make it out of this European minor into the major qualifier and get stickers, I can see crazy stickers being kind of iconic for the future. So I will give them that. But either way, one of the most questionable rebrands we have seen in CSGO this year. Now, speaking of, though, probably our biggest news out there, spoilers in 3 seconds for all of you guys. That, of course, talking about ECS Season 7 Finals going on, and Vitality have done it yet again. I apologize. I warned you guys of spoilers, but I'm shocked by this. They have now taken their 4th title this year alone, and they are certainly solidified and have been for quite some time as the best French team. And dare I say it, I do apologize for all you French fans out there if I do kind of curse you here, but I dare say it, guys, French CS might be back. With this being said, this is now the most accomplished single French roster we have seen in easily 2 years, if not even longer than that, and it's not even close. You know, we look back to the old G2 roster, old Envious rosters. Those guys were taking titles 2 to 3 years ago. They were taking maybe 1 title a year, if that. We look back on their results in the past. Vitality is making shifts, making waves here. And Nell on Twitter, I hope you're excited, because yes, I have said it, French CS might very well be back, and come this next major, who knows what's going to happen, because along with, of course, Vitality taking their 4th title, we saw such a massive shift of results out there. It's pretty crazy, and it's very hard to cover. And Vitality managed to do so by losing the most amount of rounds against semi-buys or ecos, which is pretty fun fact for all of you out there. But alongside that, 2 other storylines I need to be touching on as well. Thanks to a friend close, if you guys remember Sam41 Gaming, a very close friend to the Furia roster over there. They have blown my mind. It's just been amazing to see as well the storylines across Furia. Of course, firstly, rejecting their ESO Pro League spot straight up to just go to Dreamhack Rio, and they play 2nd there ever since. And of course, their past major run. We all know the dedication and preparation this Brazilian lineup has actually put into becoming, or trying to become, the best Brazilian roster in CSGO currently, and they are making leaps and bounds towards MIBR. It is so shocking to actually look back towards 2016, 2017 MIBR, or that core roster where they were on top of CS, to where they are now, and where Furia was a year ago, and where they are now. And certainly these 2 teams are neck and neck for the best Brazilian lineups in the world currently, and Furia this past weekend proved that point, because they take down largely what many people out there still consider to be the best team in the world, that being Astralis, despite them being number 2 in those rankings to Team Liquid's number 1. But either way, Furia actually managed to beat them on back-to-back days. They beat them on Nuke. And with that being said, one of those victories comes in a best-of-3 series. Very close. One of the best series I have watched probably throughout 2019 so far. If you guys have not seen it, I highly encourage you guys to do so. They snap a 15-month streak where Astralis went to LAN events, 22 straight LANs, that being said, and they at least made the semifinals. And doing so as well, when Furia took them down in this elimination matchup, they became the first team to actually put Astralis out in the group stage ever with their current roster. If that does not blow your mind, I don't think I'm ever going to convince you guys of anything mind-blowing here on the channel. They snap in a gigantic streak of Astralis. They take down Astralis. Of course, they eventually go out as well. But with that being said, an incredible run by Furia. They have shown time and time again the determination, the preparation they take against specific teams. It does pay off, and they are certainly closing the gap. If not, I think there's a large debate out there currently right now. They might be the best best Brazilian team in Counter-Strike. And just to show you guys how close Counter-Strike is, for again, back-to-back events, I keep on going over this, it's NRG. They actually beat Furia. They sweep them in the group stage, then they get the reverse swept by Vitality, or I should just say swept by Vitality. Then you have North, who manages to beat Vitality in group stage, but then loses to Furia in the playoffs, and of course, eventually Vitality take down Furia, I would say quite convincingly, in the finals, and Astralis goes out in group stages. Complexity takes down MIBR. This event was mind-blowing. We talked about MIBR and Complexity in that close series in my first video today. I will link down below for all of you guys, where of course Complexity's coach Warden was caught cheating or breaking the rules, a very debatable subject in a very, very close series. If you would have asked me a year ago, these would have been the results for this event, you would have been called crazy. CSGO currently, as we approach the major, yet again I'm reinforcing this, we are closer than ever, and it makes it so exciting for me. And very lastly, for all of you guys in CSGO news, I will be back tomorrow. I'm saving a couple stories because CSGO has already been way too packed. I got other esports news out there to cover, of course, for all of you here on the channel, but also most controversial around Dreamhack Valencia, which is very sad to see because it is one of the biggest female events we will see throughout 2019, or have seen actually in quite some time for females. A 100K prize pool, and the qualifiers for that, well, they're not going very well. Thanks to Oscarish, currently playing for Team XCOM, he's actually calling them out. Although I will say I think it's a bit heightened right now, but apparently during the European qualifiers there were some seeding issues with the bracket, and according to Oscarish, when he first called out Dreamhack, he had actually said that apparently they changed the bracket because of player complaints. I don't believe that to be true. If you guys actually look at apparently the first bracket, I don't have a picture of that, but the first bracket had Lazarus and Assassins actually playing each other, one of them being eliminated right away in that opening matchup, and they are, amongst many female pro players out there, Giuliano included, two of your better teams. They should definitely not have been playing each other, although the Dreamhack producer herself did say that in fact that seedings were random. If that is true, if seedings were random for these qualifiers, then yes, this would be incredibly unprofessional to actually change the bracket due to two teams being matched up at random. But I do want to say, guys, for these European qualifiers, there were 4 invited teams. Lazarus and Assassins were 2 of those teams, which means there probably were seedings for the event, and in that case as well, this is actually a big mishap. Yes, it's a bit unprofessional, but it's just a mishap as well, guys. That first bracket never should have been published, and I do agree that those two teams never should have been playing each other. Yes, it might be unprofessional to a few of you guys to change the bracket in the first place, but if there were initial seedings, it seems to be just a mess up of those seedings initially, and yes, these two teams never should have been playing each other in the first place. So whoever made the brackets, they had a mess up, guys. Don't take it for too much for granted. These two teams, I think a lot of us out there would agree, should not be playing each other, and in all fairness, I would agree with that statement as well. It's a mishap. Yes, it might be unprofessional to a few of you guys out there, but it just never should have happened in the first place. That bracket should not have been published without them rechecking things. It's a shame to see this kind of thing kind of putting more, I would say, more negativity towards the female scene around such a big event as well, because on top of that, other females out there clarifying these qualifiers, well, they're not going for very well. Dreamhack Valencia over in Spain apparently does not even have South American qualifiers, and so all the South American female pro teams out there are having to play North American qualifiers on high ping. It's just very, very sucky to see the unprofessionality, is that even a word, around such a big event for female pros out there, and I hope these things can be resolved. But this situation about the bracket, it was overhyped, and I don't think it was necessarily too bad of a problem, just a little bit of misinformation out there currently. But as always, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of CSGO News. If you guys did, feel free to leave a comment down below. What was your feedback? So far, I want your guys' feedback on ECS because I'm currently I'm really, really hyped up for this major. I know we're still a few months away, but most of our closed qualifiers for our minors have now been solidified teams-wise. It's going to be a very exciting few weeks here coming up, and I hope you guys all enjoy. As always, my name is Jake, and I will see you all back here sometime soon. Until then, drink your orange juice. Goodbye.